Teaching is a very noble profession that shapes the character, caliber, and future of an individual. If the people remember me as a good teacher, that will be the biggest honor of me. By APJ Abdul Kalam. Invited speakers, respected professors, research scholars, delegates, academicians, the members of the organizing committee. Good evening, everyone. I, P. Priscilla, Assistant Professor, Andhra Layala Institute of Engineering and Technology, Andhra Pradesh, India, feel honored to be the moderator of the day for a 5-day international virtual FDP on research and writing, jointly organized by Andhra Layala Institute of Engineering and Technology, Andhra Pradesh, and Cape Comorin Trust, India. Before we begin, let me give you the brief introduction of yesterday's session. The first speaker, Dr. Y. Kalyani, Assistant Professor in Physics, University College of Science, Osmania University, Hyderabad, enlightened the academicians on writing research articles for Scopus. The talk was very enlightening and highlighted on various concepts like research writing, quality of writing a research article, structure of research paper, sections of research paper, order of research writing, and submission to journal. The second speaker, Dr. Vivek Chand, gave a thought-provoking session on writing scientific research paper. It was highly edifying session, and he was very active in clarifying the queries of the emerging researchers. Having learned about the yesterday's session, I believe that all the participants are looking forward to more knowledgeable sessions today. Without any delay, let me introduce the first speaker of the day, Dr. Vivek Sharma. Dr. Vivek Sharma, he was born in the family of philanthropist and educationist on 7th March 1968. Dr. Vivek did his schooling from St. Paul's High School, Palampur, Himachal Pradesh. After completing his bachelor's degree in commerce, he did his law from Punjab University, Chandigarh. He obtained his post-graduation in commerce. He did his doctorate in commerce from Himachal Pradesh, Shimla. He started his professional career as assistant professor in commerce in 1992 and remained as a head of the Department of Commerce and Management, Rajpur, for 11 years. Then he got the elevation in career and became director cum principal of the same college in 2003, at which he is serving till date. He is a strong believer in hard work, growth orientation, and team building. Dr. Vivek has been instrumental in making GGSDSD College Rajpur as one of the premier institutions of higher education in the state, with college being sought after destination for studies by students. And as students of the area with curriculum designed by the corporates. In acknowledgement of his contribution in popularizing commerce education in college, Dr. Sharma has acted chairperson and convener and resource person in many international and national conventions, workshops, conferences, and seminars conducted in the field of skill development, business administration, and management. He has supervised researchers for their MPhil dissertations. He worked as an observer for IGNOU exams and interview panelist for recruitment of faculties in educational institutions. Being born in the family of late Pandit Amarnath Sharma, his grandfather, a great social worker and educationist of Himachal Pradesh, Dr. Sharma is associated with many other reputed non-government organizations as a life member of Indian Economic Association. In recognition of his services, he has been awarded with National Builder Award by Rotary International District and Best Secretary Award by Rotary International District 3070. Dr. Vivek Sharma, we are fortunate to have you with us this evening. May I now request you to take up the session, sir? Please, sir.
Thank you, Palaparthi. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. You are very much audible, sir. Please,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Before I start with my paper, I would like to congratulate Andhra Loyola Institute of Engineering and Technology
Okay, sir.
for
Thank you, sir.
organizing this 5-day international faculty development program. And my special thanks goes to Dr. Sylvester for inviting me and special thanks to Dr. Shalja Vasudeva from Palampur who introduced me to this faculty development program. I would like to start with my this presentation. Let me open the window, please. Is it visible, Palaparthi?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Right.
It is very much clear, actually.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
My topic is basically on qualitative research aspects, So I'll be starting with the brief introduction about the research as defined as a creation of new knowledge or use of existing knowledge in a new and creative way so as to generate new concept, methodologies, and understanding. This includes synthesis and analysis of previous research to the extent of it leads to the new and creative outcome. So we all know that research is basically, analyzing the whole research documents which have been previously done and which has been acclaimed also. And by using those research which has already been done, we try to reach at the new conclusions or draw new conclusions. Research is a very careful and organized study of gathering information about the specific topic, as we all of know that it is a very specific thing on which we work. Whenever anybody is involving in a research, he has to first analyze and he has to first decide on which topic he is going to do the research. What can be termed as a good research is which involves systematic planning, setting time-based realistic objective. That is one of the very prerequisite for any research, that you are doing a very systematic planning. You have to plan your research in a very, very delicate way also and very systematic way. And you have to be on a time-based also, because research cannot be prolonged for much, because there are changes from time to time. So you have to take a particular period on which you are going to base your research, and the objectives of your research must be a very realistic objectives. Feasible research method must be used for research methodology. You must be using for your doing the research, which best suits to the nature of your research question. So that you have to first analyze that what will be the research methodology which you will be using for your research question. That is the topic which you have taken up for the research. That is very important. And it is built on a sufficient relevant data, which has already been available on, all the modes, and you are reproducing and replicable all those data through your research. Characteristics of the research briefly, you all know that it can be empirical, which is based on direct experience and observations of the researchers. It can be logical also, which is based on the valid procedures and principles. It can be cyclical. Cyclical because whenever any research is done, that starts with a problem and ends with a problem for the next researcher who is going to work on that topic. So it always becomes a cyclical research. And more importantly, it is analytical also, because researchers always utilize the proven analytical procedures in gathering the data, whether it is historical, descriptive, experimental, or case study, depending upon his research topic and the field in which he is going to do the research. So these are the basic characteristics of the research, which are critical also, because critical is a very important aspect of a research, that what has been done previously, you are going to evaluate that critically also, which can be carefully and precisely judgment you have to make about your research. Methodical, you have to be very methodical when you are doing the research, because it should be without any bias, using systematic methods and procedures which are there to go in for your research. And recapability is there always in the research. Whenever you are doing any research, you are using the designs and procedures which have already been used and which are repeated to enable the researcher to arrive at a valid and a conclusive results. That is an important characteristics of the research. When we talk about the qualities of a researcher, the qualities of a researcher are very much known to all of us. We being in a research fellows, it should be most importantly a research-oriented mind which is required for doing the research. Person must be efficient to do the research. He must be having the scientific bent of mind also to do his research. Effectiveness is also very important when you are involved in any research project, research paper, or writing a research paper. Activeness is also required. Resourcefulness means where you are getting the data, from where you are obtaining the various hints for doing your research. That is very important. Creativity is one of the main characteristics which must be there in the researcher to do the research. Honesty is also required. Economically and religious factors are also important when we are involved in the research activities. When we talk of the types of research, there can be many types of research, but I have listed over here few of them, which is a basic research number one, which is called as a fundamental research also, or a pure research also, where we discover the basic truths or principles, study to look at how, for example, I'm quoting one example over here. In case we want to study to look into how alcohol consumption impacts the brain, or the study accessing whether stress level makes people more aggressive, are part of the basic research we call as a research. Applied research, when we talk of the applied research, it involves seeking new applications of scientific knowledge to the solution of a problem, such as development of a new system or procedure, new device, or new method in order to solve the problem. We can take the example research to find a cure to the disease, or research to test new lab equipment can be the examples of the applied research. Development research, when we talk of a development research, it always is a decision-oriented research, which involves application of the steps of a scientific method in response to the immediate need to improve the existing practices. When we talk of the components of the research process, we all know that we have to be very, very careful when we design our research process. We must know about our problems and objectives, why we are doing this, why we are taking up this problem, and what are the objectives we want to achieve through this research. We have to develop the hypothesis for it. There can be a theoretical or conceptual framework which you have to design for your research. You have to make certain assumptions also for doing your research. Review of related literature is one of the most important component of any research, because we want to come out with a new thing in a research which we are doing. We must analyze that what the previous researchers has done on it, and what is the related literature which is available to you to find out that problem which you have as your research problem. You must design a very, very scientific research design for your process, research process. Data collection is very important. It can be primary or secondary or whatever is the case, that you have to take into consideration whenever you are designing your research process. Data processing and statistical treatments, you have to apply the techniques. Unless and until we apply the scientific or any statistical treatments, we can't reach at the conclusion which we want to draw from our research. And finally, we have to make the analysis and interpretation out of our research, that what conclusion we are going to draw from our research. that must be clear to us. Summary, conclusions, and recommendations are the part of the important part of any research activity, whether we are writing a research paper or doing a PhD scholar research or any other research, project research. Those are the important components of any research process. Now I have come down to my main theme of this paper, that is the qualitative research. Whenever we talk about the qualitative research, it is a type of research that studies the real world problem, because qualitative research always lays the emphasis on participants' experience. That is, the first-hand information is the most important part of the qualitative research. What are the perceptions and behaviors of the participants on which we are doing the research, or to whom we are taking into confidence for doing the research? It answers how and why instead of how many and how much. That means the thrust area is qualitative rather than quantitative whenever we are talking about the qualitative research. Qualitative research purely relies on the qualitative data, and it could be part of a mixed method research that combines qualitative as well quantitative. We can't say that we can base our research exclusively on the qualitative parameters. There needs to be a quantitative data also to substantiate our research. So it can be a mixed method of research which is there in the qualitative research. One of the strengths of qualitative research is its ability to explain processes and patterns of human behavior that can be difficult to quantify. So basic thrust area, whenever we are talking of a qualitative research, is the human behavior on which we base our research. Experiences, attitudes, behaviors can be difficult to accurately capture quantitatively. We cannot, mold the human being. We cannot count their experiences. We cannot count their attitudes. We cannot count their behaviors. So it cannot be quantified. Whereas the qualitative approach allows participants themselves to explain how, why, and what they were thinking, feeling, experiencing at a certain time or during the event of interest. So it means we are gathering the first-hand experience, first-hand feelings, first-hand thinking of a person who is involved in our research project, or who is going to be our primary source of information for basing our qualitative research. There are many tools to do the qualitative research. It can be based on interviews. That is the first one-to-one, face-to-face interaction with anybody who is going to be part of your research project. Focus group surveys is the second tool which we employ to do the qualitative research. Email customer feedback is the third type of a research tool used to do the qualitative research. Customer service tickets, which is very common nowadays. Whenever any ticket is raised by the customer for his services, that gives the feedback to the company, or that gives the feedback to the service-oriented industry to find out what are the experiences of the customer about their products, with their services. That is the first-hand report which gives them the feedback to base their further, project management or the product management. Observation notes are very important research tool in qualitative research. Phone calls, we may be receiving the phone calls, whether it is from banks or any other service organization, to find out the quality of the services we are getting from them or any other part. So that is also one of the research tool of the qualitative research. Questionnaires, which is a common method of getting the feedback on any particular issues which are the part of our research design. This data, when it comes back to you, can be months. Qualitative data analysis tool can help in organize, process, and analyze the data for actionable insights. Because when we use these research tools, we come out with the first-hand report, and then we can analyze that first-hand report to base our research on that. So that is the research tools which we basically use in the qualitative research. Best qualitative data analysis softwares are there to find out that what type of data which is available to us and how we can use that data for completing our research, or base our research design, base our research analysis, and base our research interpretation on those softwares, using those softwares. All these softwares are available in the market. Some of them are free, some of them are paid, but the qualitative data analysis software is used across the wide range of sectors: healthcare, legal profession, education, e-commerce, businesses, marketing departments. All are using these softwares to find out or base their research and design. And that is the R&D main thing which is done through these softwares. And basically, there are many types of softwares. We are dealing with them one by one. One is Qda. It is a qualitative, quantitative, and mixed method of data analysis tool. I mean, that takes into consideration a mixed branch, that qualitative and quantitative both are covered in it. It lets you input your data from the range of sources such as surveys, interviews, focus groups, to name a few. You can then tag and categorize these data for analysis. This tool is best for education and non-profit and commercial sectors. And it is very... Am I audible to all of you, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible, sir. Very clear, sir.
Yes. It is easy to use and can support a number of different languages, and used as artificial intelligence tool also to help user with audio transcriptions. So this is one of the tool to qualitative data analysis. Then second one is Nivio. Like this, the first one, this software tool is that allows its user to organize and store their qualitative data ready for analysis. You can also import Word documents, PDF, audio, images, and videos to this software. And then you can do your analysis with those data which are available to you as a secondary data. It is best for the researchers and academics who are looking with this software with auto coding. Strength of this softwares are very much there. Interface is easy to use and is quite like Microsoft. That makes it instantly familiar, intuitive for many users. It has more powerful than other offerings and offers automated transcriptions and auto coding. Third type of the data analysis tool which is available is Atlas TI, which is a powerful qualitative data analysis software tool. It supports large body of textual, graphical, audio, and video data. Unlike any other software in this category, such as Quirkos, it is incorporated artificial intelligence technology as it has evolved, which is the latest tool which we are using for analyzing the data and making research. Artificial intelligence is part of these softwares. It is best for research organizations, corporations which are using for their R&D programs, academic institution, and due to extra AI feature and that added cost. These are all softwares are available to the researchers with cost also, without cost also, and available on the websites of these software companies. Strength of this software is that it is very interface and cleaner and sleeker than other two which we have already discussed. And it is also more powerful, boating both sentiment analysis and auto coding also. Next one is your Qda Miner. It is another software which is a mix of qualitative and mixed method software that helps you to organize, code, and analyze your data. They offer both at paid and free versions. Both are available in the market. It is best for advanced visualization and persons who are into research and working alone. Latest version of Qda Miner 6, which was released in 2020, can be linked with Tableau, the top data visualization tool, to give you an array visualization options. There are weaknesses of every software, and it does not collaborate, which could be a big drawback if you are working on data with a team. So it is basically a single use, you can say, software for the research. Next is Quacos is described itself as a simple software tool that can help in the analysis of a qualitative data. It is affordable and popular within the education sector. Students basically and academics are using this data for their research purposes. It has got the strength with a free trial availability to you, and which can be of great if you are not sure what software is right for you. Means it is a very simple software to use otherwise. It also has affordable and some of the more advanced options like Atlas T, drag and drop text function, which makes it very simple and easy to use also. And it can work collaboratively with Quirkos in the real time. Weaknesses are also there for this software. Simplicity means that it offers less functionality, which is available in other softwares, may not be available in this software. It also has fewer import options, that you can't import data from Word, PDF, or any other format. If you want to import the data, that facility may not be available in this type of software. Next is Deduce is a 100% web-based tool for qualitative analysis. It was designed to analyze both qualitative and quantitative data. It's a mix of both, capable of importing data from range of different formats, including documents, images, audios, videos, and spreadsheets. It is best for web-based research, fully web-based options where they can be easily collaborated with the team members. It has got the strength of team orientation and user-friendly. It is easy to import both text and visual data in this software and compatible with the mobile also. So weaknesses are also there, that this though affordability can work out to be more expensive than other softwares, as they only charges the monthly fee. So that is the fee part of this software, which can be expensive when we are talking about using it in the research by the students. It cannot be used because of its high cost, and it is 100% web-based, may also be a negative for some of them. So there is no artificial intelligence or machine learning used in this tool. Next is your Tagwitch is a free open source qualitative data analysis tool that allows you to tag your data so you can then export it for analysis. It is best for basic and free option to organize their data for analysis. Strengths are there and weaknesses are also there for this software, which can be used by anybody, which is for whom it is beneficial depending upon his research topic, research design. It offers both online and local version available to you. Next is Monkey Learn. It's a powerful qualitative analysis software. It differs from most of the tools. When we talk, we have listed here it harnesses the power of artificial intelligence and machine learning to make your data analysis process as efficient as possible. So these softwares can help you depending upon your research design, research topic, which software can be the best for your research, that you have to choose. Only then you have to go in for that type of a software when we are doing the research. It offers an intuitive, no coding interface that gets you to the stage of analyzing and visualizing your data in much less time. It's also useful if you are not a data expert and you don't have the hours to spend coding manually, or due to the size of your database, it's simply impossible to do so. So it can be also used depending upon your research topic and research design. Only then you go in for these types of softwares. Qualitative research also have got the types and methods which are used for doing the research. And one of them is ethnography. Ethnography is one of the most powerful method for qualitative research. As you may be knowing, it involves the researcher embedding himself or herself into the daily life and routine of the subject or subjects. Means you are directly connecting yourself with the primary source of your information to find the information for your research. Either as an active participant or as an observer, researcher experiences their custom, tradition, mannerism, reactions to the situation. That you get the first-hand information from the primary source of your information through ethnography model of qualitative research. And it is the first-hand information which is available to base your research. Geographical constraint could be hindrance for the researcher in this type of method of qualitative research. One of the best examples which is there for the application of this method is on-the-field method can help companies in assessing how consumer can use certain products or services and accordingly develop new product or revamp existing products. Means based on the customer satisfaction, on customer reviews which they get from the experiences or the feedback from the customers, they can base their new designs of the product through ethnography. This is the first method of the qualitative research. Second method of qualitative research can be narrative research. Narrative research of a qualitative research gathers data or facts from one or two subjects through interviews, documents over a period of time. It is based on theme. These are then pieced together, not necessarily in the same sequence, to drive the answers. You are collecting the information and then you are collaborating and you are combining those information to make your research topic or design work on those basis. That is the narrative research. The application or example of this type of research can be a business can use this method to understand challenges which they face by their target audience and can be utilized for innovation and development of a product. So this is the second type of method of qualitative research we try to follow. Third one is phenomenology, is qualitative research method which is used to study the event or activity as it happens from various angles. It uses the technique of interviews, videos, on-site visits. One can add to the existing information by using perspectives and insights from participants themselves about the activity or event, and it primarily experiences the perception based on research method. So phenomenon is the another method which you can use to base your research, or you can design your research in that way. But it uses the technique. Again, first-hand primary data is used for that. That is interviews, direct interviews. You can do it through videos. You can do it through on-site visits. And the application of this phenomenology technique is in the educational institutions, which rely on basically to study that how students make their choices about applying to university and colleges. This method of qualitative research is used to find out that thing. Next is your grounded theory. Grounded theory starts with a question and collection of data. Through systematic data collection analysis, repetitive ideas, elements are coded and codes are grouped and categorized. So it is another method of qualitative research. New theories may be formed on the basis of these categories. Product-based company can use these methods to understand the customers, how they use their products, what are the individual features of their products or products which a customer is liking or disliking. Grounded theory can be used to find out those answers. Case study is the another research methodology method which can be used and which is a very common method of research. It gathers in-depth and detailed information about the subject, which could be any entity, organization, or event, or something larger than like a country. Qualitative research method can be explanatory or exploratory or fact-finding. Under the case study, whenever we are doing any case study, we are trying to find out the answers, whether it is explanatory or exploratory or fact-finding. Examples of this application are in the businesses. Case studies are useful tool to formulate strategies, understand influences, devise new methods that is used as a technique by the companies to find out their R&Ds. Last but not the least, I would come down to the pros and cons of our qualitative approach. There are always any search we are doing or any method which we are using for the research. There can be pros or advantages or disadvantages of those methods. Qualitative research can capture changing attitudes within the target group, such as consumer or product or services, attitudes in the workplace. So that is the first thing that is an advantage in a qualitative research, that you get the first-hand information from your primary data source to base your research. Qualitative approach research are not bound by limitations of quantitative methods. In responses don't fit the researcher expectations, that equally useful qualitative data to add context and perhaps explain something that numbers alone are unable to reveal. So what it means that qualitative approach is basically a non-quantitative approach of doing the research. We are basing our research models on the first-hand informations through interviews, focus groups, or case study, or any other method, which gives us the feedback from the, our targeted groups to find or base our research. That is the advantage which is available in the qualitative approach of research, which cannot be there in the quantified approach of research. Qualitative research provides as much flexible approach also. It is a flexible, useful insights are not being captured. Researchers can quickly adapt questions, change the settings, any other variables to improve responses. Depending upon the status of your information from the primary source, you can base your all questionnaires or all interviews depending upon vernacular languages barriers can be removed. So all those facilities are available in the qualitative research, which is not available in the quantitative research. Qualitative data captures allow researchers to be far more speculative about what areas they choose to investigate and how to do so. It allows data capture to be prompted by the researcher instinctive or gut feel, or where good information will be found. So that is the basic quality of a qualitative research, that you are having the specific area to investigate, and you can be more speculative. You can be more speculative to get the information on any of the area, whether it is pertaining to your research or out of your research, to base your research results on those instinct of the first-hand information. When we talk about the disadvantages are always there, because it does not take the quantity data or quantified data into consideration at all, due to which the sample size can be a big issue in this type of a research, that from where you should get your data, from where you should choose your sample size. That is the biggest one drawback which you feel in the qualitative research. Sample bias is always there in the qualitative research. Then self-selection bias may arise, where companies can ask the staff to volunteer their views. It means that there is always a likelihood that you may not be getting the proper sample to do the research in the qualitative research. Artificiality and qualitative data captures the act of bringing together a group of inevitable outside this typical norm and everyday work, life, and culture, and many influences of participants are unforeseen. You can't foresee the human behavior. You can't foresee that how much response you are going to get from the first-hand primary data which you have chosen as a sample for your research. So that will always a big question on it, whether questionnaire you are using, interview technique you are using, then you are going to get the required responses from the participants or not. That is a big question mark in the qualitative research. Right questions being posed to participant, you can only get answers to the question you think to ask. Qualitative approach asking about how and why can be hugely informative, but if researchers don't ask, the insight may be missed. You may be missing your goal when you are not getting the answer to these types of questions, which are base of your research. That is the biggest disadvantage in a qualitative research. And the reality is that research approach has both pros and cons. The art of effective and meaningful data gathering is thus to be aware of limitations and strength of each method. So with these words, I conclude my this presentation. I hope it will be useful to you. And the references which I have taken to you, I have given in my this presentation. You can find out for yourself in case you want to do further analysis of my topic. Thank you very much once again, all the organizers, and especially Madam Shelja Vasudeva for giving to me opportunity to be attached with this workshop. Thank you. I'm there to take your questions now.
Thank you, Dr. Vivek Sharmaji, for an enlightening and entertaining presentation on the right way about research, systematic planning, and setting time-based research, and also about various characters of research, and mainly about qualitative and quantitative research, and about various softwares. Please accept our thanks for a great presentation, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank
Dear
you.
participants, the floor is now open. You can pose the questions.
Sir, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please.
Sir, first of all, thank you so much for giving such elaborate and very clear guideline for the research methodology, especially the qualitative one. I have a topic which is related to human resources in the organization. So when I'm looking for designing the questionnaire or gathering the information, I feel the number of people whom I need to take is really huge. But without working on the qualitative inputs, it will not bring sense. So how should one strike a balance between qualitative and quantitative methodologies?
You know, I have already mentioned in this presentation that sample size is one of the biggest disadvantage one faces when we are doing the qualitative research. So you have to, come down to a very, very clear picture about your sample size whenever you are to do this qualitative research. And that depends upon your research topic as well as research design also, that which area you are going to cover, what is the total, scope of your research. So I think that will help you to finalize the data sample for your research. I think that will be the best course.
And do you think working with qualitative and quantitative as a mixed methods and using this tools that you had suggested us, data analysis softwares. So I was just going through, there are so many options, and when we have so many options, mind feels little stuck as to what is one of the best thing to be working on.
Right. So that that blend has to be there, you can't be exclusive on the qualitative aspect without, taking into consideration the quantitative aspect. So you
Sure.
have to make a blend or mix of both those qualitative as well as quantitative also. So again, now when you will go through these softwares or you go through other techniques which are available for us to do the qualitative research, we have to, precisely make a very, very clear demarcation that where the qualitative aspect of a research will be more effective or where the quantitative can substantiate our research topics. So we have to, basically make a mix of these two, both qualitative as well as quantitative techniques.
Sure, I agree with you, sir, that it needs to be a mix. But when we're using this, both the data, do you think we need to be on the same software for doing the data analysis?
No, in quantitative, we can use the statistical tools for doing the research. That will depend upon the topic, our research topic, basically, whether we are to use the correlation technique, whether we are the interview technique or whatever is will be much better or giving us the better option or better, effective data for our research. That will have to be decided on case to case basis, in my opinion.
Yeah, agree. Sure, sir. So I was just wondering if at all we have some tools that you had mentioned about wherein we can use it for qualitative and quantitative.
Both mix can be there. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah. So in that case, we do not go for the statistical tools. Like right now, we were recommended SPSS. So we like
that tool, if that tool, software tool which we are talking of can substantiate our information, I think we can part with that tool in that case.
Yeah, something like Qda Miner is something, I like that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much.
Can we close down now, please? Anybody having the query can just mail it to me on my mail ID. I'll be happy to reply to that also.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Right? Thank you.